Good morning, fellas, people, lovely souls, beautiful empaths. Good evening and a good afternoon to all the viewers all over the world. This is Denzomos, and I welcome you to the page of truth, page of enlightenment, page of freedom, and the page of breaking empaths free. Now, guys, if you're new, as always, it's quite an interesting day, but if you're new, it's your first time logging in, just take a moment, please. Take a moment and like, share, subscribe. For the ones that have always been with me, I still welcome you back to this page. And I thank you for the love and support. Now, guys, you can notice I'm smiling because I've just remembered there's a moment in my last days of my marriage. There's a moment I remember. The narcissist, I was in a love triangle in that time. So the narcissist, she had put me on that vibration whereby she thought that now I would accept to be translated with somebody else. So she was asking me, either I have to leave the relationship or I have to accept her to sleep with somebody else. So this was a situation whereby your wife is asking you if you should allow. It's like for me it was like a demotion. So she has got to allow you. She has got to make you accept her sleeping with somebody else. And when you ask her why, she's telling you, because I can't let you go, and also I can't let the other person go. So there are two people in this situation. There's a new fella and the new supply and the old supply. And the narcissist is standing in between the two of them, asking them. She's telling the new supply she can't let you go. And then she's also telling you she can't let the new supply go. So you're in a love triangle. So when I remember this situation, actually, it brought me back in those days. But anyhow, I'm going to talk about the situation where in this video I want to talk about the narcissist. They will know when you wake up. They can tell that you've woken up. So basically, in my last days of the relationship, of my marriage, I had already made a decision. That's why you saw me laughing, actually, because I remember those days, those incidents. So I had already made a decision, actually, that I was going to leave the partnership. So I had taken a decision. I knew that now I need to stand up for myself. I need to start fight for myself, because in those last days I was struggling. I was really suffering. And I knew that I'm going to take a very difficult decision. I made a very difficult promise for myself, and I decided that I'm going to stand up for myself, and I take a very difficult decision to leave this partnership, because it had gotten very toxic to that level whereby I started to get worried about myself. First of all, about myself, and also about my child. So I knew that this situation was going to get to the worst, and I took a very difficult decision. I was taking this decision. Now, people, listen to me very carefully. I was taking this decision actually before I even woke up. This was in the last couple of days before my awakening. So I took the decision. I think even maybe that's why God gave me the revelation, because in those last days I was looking for closure. I knew that this thing was very toxic and it was very bad. So I was looking for, how do I get out of it? I knew that I would get out eventually. I would even pack my bags and leave. But I didn't know how would I break off this thing emotionally, because it was really torturing me. That thing was really torturing me. And guess what was happening actually? In those last days of torture, you would catch the narcissist texting somebody, texting the new supply. You catch her sometime calling the new supply. Sometimes you even catch her with tickets. She has been traveling to the city. So in those days I was struggling. And I remember one day, particular day, I lay down in the sofa, so I was cuddling my daughter. In those last days, so I wanted to feel the last moments of enjoying the peace with my daughter in those last moments. So I was just cuddling with my daughter, so I fell asleep. And I remember waking up, opening up my eyes, and so the narcissist was actually that is what made me realize that these people actually, they are even enjoying the pain. Because as much as I was suffering, I realized the narcissist was actually enjoying this. She was enjoying it. She was enjoying my pain. She was enjoying to watch me suffer. You know what I mean? She was saying the things that would hurt me, and then she was enjoying the movie. You know what I mean? So she was even, sometime I caught her in those days, she was even taking photos. She was making videos even. So for some reason, I opened my eyes and I caught the narcissist actually making even videos of me in that torture moment when I was actually getting tortured and suffering in that time. So what am I trying to say in this video is, the narcissist has programmed all their life with you. They have put you in their trap, their web of lies, and they have entrapped you in their system. Now, it will feel as if they have put you in a small box, and you will feel as if each and every anywhere you try to go, you can't jump out of the box. You can't move left, you can't move right, you can't move south, you can't move north. So you are in the middle of the box. It's a very small box and you can't move anywhere. So the narcissist has programmed the system. They have tied you to themselves, psychologically, physically, in every way. So they have already tied you. They have spent a lot of time programming this, and they have tied you to themselves. And the thing the narcissist doesn't know, the stupidest thing the narcissist never understand is that there's always a moment for everything. So for me, in my case, I don't know if it will be the case for you or for somebody else who is watching this video, but there will always come a time when the awakening is going to happen. Now, the narcissist, they have made this system to keep you trapped and to think, for you to believe that there's nowhere you can go. There's nowhere you can live. You cannot survive without them. You cannot start a new life. You cannot get somebody new, because they are saying they are the best people for you. They are the best thing that has ever happened to you. So they are making you believe all these lies. You know what I mean? You cannot live with me. You cannot live without me. You have got to live here. I need to triangulate you. I need to love that one, and I need to love this one. I need to sleep with that one. I need to sleep with this one. So you have got to be there and face all the BS. And the more pain you get from this kind of torture, is the more happy the narcissist feels. So basically what happens is, when I was awakening, in those days when I awakened, later on when I awakened, there's one thing I saw in particular. The narcissist started to panic. Now, when you awaken, what exactly happens is that, for example, I'll give you an example. When you awaken, the veil has been lifted. So what do I mean by the veil has been lifted? Whatever the narcissist has ever hidden from you, it is coming to light. Everything they have ever hidden from you, all the abuse, the torture, anything spiritual, whatever they have ever done to you, it is coming to light. In my recent video, guys, I talked about my story, and I don't want to go back there. So most of you heard about what I was talking about. So the veil has been lifted. The narcissist has been stripped naked. So eventually, after all these years, you can now see the narcissist for who they are. And that is the only thing they never knew, even believe that it will ever happen to them. They never expected that is going to happen to them. They never knew you would wake up. So when you wake up, the veil has been lifted. So what happens is, number one, the narcissist knows that you're now aware. Your switches have turned on. Now you're aware. You can see them exactly for who they are. And they are going to feel this on emotional level. What happens is, the narcissist has hooked you in every way. They have hooked you in all corners. Remember, each and every single day, they were putting an extra hook on you. So, emotionally, you have been tied up in every way. You cannot move. You cannot do nothing. You cannot even start anything new. Now, when you're waking up, you start unhooking yourself. Me personally, when I was unhooking myself, I remember the first thing when I saw what I explained before, when the mask slipped, when I saw what I saw, I remember sitting down there and I told the narcissist, okay, so you know what? And remember, guys, because I've always told you, you cannot tell a narcissist that you've discovered they're the narcissist, especially when you're still living with them. You cannot tell them that you found out who they are. It's very, very important. When you ever slip a mask, for the ones who have slipped the masks, if you ever slip a mask, never tell the narcissist that you finally found out who they are. So it is a secret. Just keep it your secret. But emotionally, you are going to notice. These are the things you're going to notice emotionally. You are going to notice the narcissist has started to go in panic mode. So when they're going in panic mode, they are feeling you're detaching. Because now remember, before you used to be reactive. They used to say something, you react. They used to do something, you react. So each and everything they were doing, They were doing it to cause you pain and to cause you harm. So you were always reactive of those things. But now that you finally understood, the mask has slipped. So it is like whatever they are doing is not affecting you in any way. So you're not now feeling the way you used to do previously before you woke up. So you have now detached from them emotionally. When you wake up, I told you guys in my recent videos that when you wake up and the veil has been lifted, you are eventually emotionally free. You start to get that freedom. Like I told you, that bond, there's that thing that you have in the middle of the chest. As soon as you feel that thing, whatever it is, leaving your body, that is the very first moment actually you are detaching from the narcissist emotionally. And after that, what happens next is going to be very smooth. Because I remember for me, my exit was actually very smooth. I was like, okay, so I need to go. I'm going to find a room and whatever. I'm not going to fight with you. You can move in with a new supply if you want. You can move in. You can do what you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do with the new supply. I'm never ever going to bother you again. And for your own notice, this is the last time actually you're seeing me in this house. You will never see me in this house again. That is the first time actually she ever had something from me. So the narcissist will get puzzled. Number one, it will feel as if they are not hooking. The way they used to hook you up before, it is not working anymore. So anything they are saying, whatever they are doing, yes, they are going to try to poke you one way or the other, you know. Because remember, the narcissist, it feels as if they have got control over your life. So they are the ones. They are the ones with the remote. So they are trying to push a button, but you're non-reactive. Because now you're woken up, you're awakened. They will push a button. They will say something. They will do something. They will try to initiate something that's going to put you guys into an argument. But whenever they are going to try that, it is not going to work because at that moment now you're woke. And actually, when the narcissist knows that you woke, it sends them in a very big panic mode because now they are thinking it is very likely you're going to leave them forever. They know that. They will feel it. So, me personally, when I remember, in those days when I was living, the first message I got a message when I left the house. And the message was reading, how do you feel emotionally? Now, I had already found out this was an emotional vampire. This was an energy vampire who had always been feeding off my energy for all these years. And the veil had been lifted and I already found out who they were. Now, when I left the house, now here's the narcissist because now she's trying to test the emotional attachment. That's guys, I want you to be very careful. That is when you're actually going to understand that you've been dealing with a narcissist. You leave the house and the narcissist is actually very concerned about the way you feel. No, they are not concerned about the way you feel. They are actually concerned if you're still attached to them emotionally. Because when you're still attached to them emotionally, they know that they still have a grasp on you. So they know that they can always jump in whenever they want because you still have a very strong emotional attachment with them. So if you ever see a narcissist, you're leaving them and they are starting to ask you the way you feel. Oh, how do you feel now? How do you feel emotionally? So they are trying to pretend to show you that image that they're actually concerned about the way you feel. Guys, don't get it twisted. The narcissist actually is trying to check if you still have got an emotional attachment with them, because they are believing that at one point, should things not work out with whoever they are with at that moment, the new supply, they want to slide back in very easily, and they need that emotional attachment with them to make it easy for them to slide in, because when you're not emotionally attached to them, they can never come in. They know that. So when you wake up, the narcissist will know. It will feel as if that wall has been broken because they have been hiding from the background and abusing you and destroying you from the background. Everything has been happening behind the scenes. But when you've woken up, the wall has been broken. The veil has been lifted. And now you can see these vampires for who they are. You can look them in the face without feeling anything. They can say anything, you're not reacting. They can do anything to you, you're non-reactive. Now, you've reached that extent whereby you're non-reactive and they can never get to you emotionally. And they will feel that because now they can feel they're losing control over you. And that is the thing, the biggest thing the narcissist actually is afraid of. When the narcissist ever realizes that actually, if they ever realize they are losing grasp, they are losing the grip on you, that is what scares them, because now that is the moment they know the things have gotten very real for them and they have actually pushed the wrong button. So when you wake up, you have to understand they will know. They are going to check that. They are going to ask you about how you feel. They are going to try to trigger a reaction from you. They are going to try to they are going to try to do something that will make you react. Because remember, for all these years, they have been doing all these things that are making you react in a certain way. But for some reason, now you're woken up and you're non-reactive. There's nothing that affects you. Whatever they want to do, they can go where they want to go. You don't feel affected by them. Even actually their presence, you feel as if their presence is even boring you. For the first time in many years, you feel that the narcissist's presence actually is boring you. You cannot even bear looking at them. So that is when they know. They will feel it on emotional level that you're finally detaching from them. So guys, this is what I wanted to say in this video. Just be confident. If you're out there, you're still struggling with a narcissist, you have to know at one point you're going to wake up. But when you wake up, like I've said, it is a very silent process. Keep it to yourself. Don't tell them what you've seen. Don't tell them what you've known. Keep it to yourself, and now start making the moves to leave, because the narcissist will start to feel that you're emotionally detaching from them. And that alone can lead to something else. So, like for my case, I've given my example. I made a very quiet exit out of the house. And then that is when I was able to become the person I am today, because I was able to break free from a very toxic, high-level individual. Guys, much love and blessings. There's signing out. Love you all and stay blessed.